Okay, we'd like to welcome Rory McIlroy into the interview room here at the RBC Canadian Open, making his second start at this event with a pretty good winning percentage, Rory. If you can take us back to your win in 2019 and what you remember from that week.
Yeah, it'd be nice to keep that percentage up this week for sure. It's great to be back in Canada. First and foremost, it's obviously been a while since this championship's been played. I think everyone I've spoken to, everyone that I've seen out in the golf course is really excited for the Canadian Open to be back, and just for live sporting events in general to be back on in this country. So excited to be back. Excited to finally defend my title from 3 years ago at Hamilton, and wonderful memories from that week. It was I was playing really well coming into it. Got myself in another position after the Saturday night, and then just really took advantage of that position on Sunday, and sort of went out with the mindset of being aggressive and really trying to take the tournament by the scruff of the neck, I guess. And I was able to do that. It was a really fun day. I had a chance to shoot 59 there on the back nine, which was really cool. It's not a position you find yourself in very often. So, some great memories, some great golf played, and certainly one of the highlights of 2019 for me.
And now we're at St. George's. You just played 18 holes. Just comment on this golf course.
Yeah, I mean, a few similarities to Hamilton in a way. The greens are probably a little more undulating and slopey here than Hamilton. Probably the golf course in general, just has a little more movement to it. But I love it. It's a great setup. It's penal if you miss the fairways. It's thick rough. You have to keep the ball below the hole on the greens. It's a really good golf course. I liked it. I think as the week progresses, I've only played 18 holes. I'll learn a little bit more about it as the week goes on. But you got to put it in position off the tee, and then you just have to be really smart with your second shots. Just you can't be too aggressive. I left the ball not knowing today, above a few of the hole positions, and it's hard to get those putts within 10 feet. So it really is about keeping the ball below the hole, and the guy that does that the best this week is probably going to come out on top.
All right, thank you for that. We'll open it up to questions. We'll get started back here. Third row, sorry. And then we'll go to Bob.
Rory, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, the Saudi-backed Live Tour that will start at the same time as this Canadian Open. There are some big names that have been confirmed just in the last few days, even the last few hours. What do you make of it? What do you make of the fuss that's being made about it?
I think my stance on it has been pretty clear from the start. It's not something that I want to participate in. I certainly understand the guys that have went. I understand what their goals and their ambitions are in their life, and I'm not. Certainly not knocking anyone for going. It's their life, it's their decision. They can live it the way they want to. But for me, I want to play on the PGA Tour against the best players in the world, and I think for me, I was speaking to a few people yesterday, and one of the comments was any decision that you make in your life that's purely for money usually doesn't end up going the right way. Obviously, money is a deciding factor in a lot of things in this world, but if it's purely for money, it's not. Never seems to, it never seems to go the way you want it to. And I've had that before a couple of times in my life, and there's other things that are a part of it too. But it's a weird time in professional golf, and I said it a couple of weeks ago. We're just going to have to see how this season plays out, and if any other guys decide to go another direction than the established tours, I guess, and see what the I guess, see what the consequences are. But I guess for me right now, I can only speak personally. It's not something that, you know, I envision ever doing, and you know, I'm happy playing on the PGA Tour, and you know, I have a nice schedule that I can pick for myself. I can spend a lot of time at home with my family if I want to, prioritize the majors, and yeah, there's nothing about my schedule or my life or my earning or anything that I would change.
Okay, let's go to Bob on the second, and then over to John.
Hi, Rory. Can you talk about the last round at Hamilton last time, and maybe something like the last round you had at Augusta this year? How easy is it for you to kind of recreate the feels that you had during those rounds, the ease of which those rounds took place? Is that something that you can call upon, or you try to call upon?
I think if it was that easy, I'd do it more often, I guess. You know, sometimes you just find yourself in these, whether it be these mental states or this place where everything sort of matches up. The mental state, physically you're in a good place, you're swinging it well, you having the confidence to play the shots and take the shots on. You're always, you know, I think out on tour we're never, I mean, very, very rarely, maybe that day in Hamilton, maybe the last round at Augusta, that we're operating on 100%. There's always 10 or 15% lacking in one area or another, and you're always having to fight against it, and you're always having to manage your game, whether it be physically or mentally, and trying to clear negative thoughts or whatever it may be. So the days that come along that you are operating at 100%, it's nice, and you have to take advantage of those. But I would say more often than not, you know, there's, you know, you just have to make do with that 85 or 90% and get the most out of that.
Okay, let's go to John, third row.
Hey, Rory. You've spoken before about how important national opens are to you. Do you maybe rehash about why they're important to you, and do you think that that's one of the reasons something you can only find on the PGA Tour, and is there a reason maybe some of your peers don't see them in the same light you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm I guess a self-confessed golf nerd, historian, traditionalist. You know, some of the oldest events in most of the oldest events in our game are national opens, and I've been very fortunate enough to win quite a few. You know, here, Irish Open, US Open, Australian Open. I was beaten in a playoff at the South African Open. Won the Hong Kong Open, which we want to argue whether that's a national open or not. But I always look back at my Australian Open win, and I think one of the great things about our game is you can in some way compare yourself to historical figures that I've never met before, but I look at a trophy that my name's on, and Walter Hagen's name's on there, or Gene Saracen, or Byron Nelson, or Ben Hogan, or Jack Nicklaus, or Arnold Palmer, or whoever it is. And I think that's one of the coolest things about our sport that not a lot of other sports can sort of tap into. And as a golf historian and traditionalist, I like that stuff. I like sitting down with the claret jug at home and looking at the names on the trophy. Like, that is so cool. And you look at the Canadian Open trophy and you look at the names that are on that. You're putting your name in history by winning these national championships, and that's honestly, it's something that money can't buy, or it's something that money can't give you.
Okay, let's go to Adam here, and then we'll take two in the back.
Rory, you're defending obviously this week. You're not Canadian, of course, but there's a lot of people out there who are really excited to see you this week. Do you mind being almost the face of the tournament? Do you relish that position?
I'd rather that than the alternative. You know, everyone says, "Oh, you must get so sick of taking photos with everyone." I said, "Well, it beats no one asking for a photo, I guess." I like it. You know, I've worked hard to get to this position, and yeah, I mean, if I if I didn't like the attention, I'd go and I'd play another sport, or I'd get another job or whatever. But there's a lot of things that come along with being one of the top players in the game, and yeah, I do relish it. I like that. I like being in that position.
All right, let's take two in the back, in the middle.
Hey, Rory. I'll keep this a bit lighter than a live golf follow-up question. I saw a couple weeks ago on social media you had a great post with your daughter at the PGA Championship where she pointed at your picture and said, "That's when Daddy was good," which I found was funny. So what do you think your daughter would think if Daddy manages to repeat here this week?
She'd probably just want to go back to the aquarium she was at yesterday. At this point, she still isn't, still doesn't understand that much. She knows that I turn up on TV every once in a while and hit some golf shots, but I'm happy when she's happy, and if she's happy being out here, or happy seeing me play golf, then that makes me feel good. I didn't. I was playing in the rain at Glen Abbey yesterday, but they did, my wife and daughter.
Okay, right back in the middle.
Rory, in getting to know RBC the last 2 or 3 years since you won at Hamilton, just wondering how impressed you are by the depth of their involvement in golf at all levels, including the professional game?
Yeah, there's RBC support of the professional game. Everywhere now has been. It's immensely appreciated. Obviously, being the title sponsor of the Heritage down in Hilton Head, obviously being the title sponsor here of the Canadian Open, supporting a lot of professional golfers from this country and from other places around the world. Even partnering, I did a day yesterday, and I didn't realize that they've partnered with Harold Varner to try to bring golf to underserved communities. I think that's really important. I think the more we can make golf accessible, the better. And if RBC is helping do that in this country, then that's a really great thing. So yeah, I've been really impressed with the continued support that they've shown golf, not just at the professional level, but at all levels.
Okay, we'll go back third row, and then we'll move over to Lucas over on the right.
Rory, can you weigh in on Live Golf deciding to start its schedule this week opposite one of the oldest golf tournaments in the world that's had a 2-year absence that you're the defending champion at?
I mean, I understand why they... I maybe don't understand why they chose this date. I understand why they chose the location. It's sort of goading the PGA Tour into allowing releases for that event. It's not in the United States. It's a conflicting event, but we get releases for conflicting events. There's a lot of things that they've done that don't make sense to me. So no, I can't. It's very hard for me to put myself in their mind and think things through logically and get to the place where they've gotten to, I guess. So no, it's just, again, for the game in general, I think it's a shame that it's going to fracture the game. It's, I think if anything, we need to make this, the professional game is the window shop into golf. And if the general public are confused about who's playing where and what tournament's on this week and who's, oh, he plays there, oh, okay, and he doesn't get into these events, and it just becomes so confusing. I think everything needs to try to become more cohesive, and I think it was on a pretty good trajectory until this happened.
Okay, got time for a few more. Let's go to Lucas and then over to Bob.
Hi, Rory. To your right.
Over here. Sorry.
Hi. Several of the top golfers are playing here this week. Yourself, Scotty Scheffler, JT. What does it say just about the event that it's able to attract some of the top golfers in the world?
Yeah, so I think there's a few different aspects to why. I think the date change has helped. I think a lot of guys like playing the week before a major championship now, so I think that really helps. I think the rotation of golf courses that this event seems to have going, Hamilton, and then here, and then I think Oakville maybe next year. Is that right? Old traditional setups that probably in some way are good preparation for next week. It's not all just about next week. Obviously, it's a huge tournament in its own right. You want to come here and compete and try to win. But the date change definitely helps. And then I think going back to the RBC question, I think just their involvement in the game, being more present throughout the tour, guys getting to know RBC and the team at Hilton Head, and then obviously here as well. I think it's a big part of it, and I think you'll continue to see this field be very strong in the future.
Okay, we're going to go to Bob and then wrap up with Adam here.
Rory, you talked about names on trophies and national opens. Is it possible for someone such as yourself, a non-Canadian, to have an appreciation for how long the drought has been since a Canadian has won this and what it would take?
68 years, I know.
Very good.
Don't worry, Corey Connors gets told every 5 minutes.
Yeah. But can you have an appreciation for what they go through in trying to put this week together?
Yeah. I was told a story. I was at Glen Abbey yesterday. I was told a story about the Vijay Singh, Mike Weir. Someone said no one's seen someone so disappointed to win a tournament than Vijay that week. I do, because when I go back to play in the Irish Open, I feel it. I get it. There's more tension. There's more angst. You almost try too hard, and it's almost like just about letting go. Going out and having fun playing. And sometimes when you go to play your own National Open, it's hard to do that because you are just trying so hard and you're getting reminded every 5 minutes about how long the drought's been. But yes, so I can certainly appreciate what Corey and Adam and Mackenzie and Nick and all the guys that, are here this week. I certainly appreciate what they have to go through.
Okay, last question right here, Adam.
Rory, last time when you did win, I think on Sunday, it may have been for every round, but you were marking your ball with a loonie. Did you get a loonie again this week?
Yeah, so I turned up the locker and there was already one in my locker, and then one of my Pro-Am partners gave me one this morning on the first green as well. So I'm loaded with loonies this week. So yes, I will use it for sure.
All right, Rory, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.